And now, Detailing Success and PNS Double Black present the Renny Doyle Podcast, a podcast for blue-collar entrepreneurs. Hosted by the detailer of Air Force One and founder of both Detailing Success and the Detail Mafia, Renny Doyle.
All right. That was kind of confusing. It's like, what do I do? Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome, Renny Doyle Podcast. And today we've got IGL with us. And so welcome, guys. So take a couple seconds, introduce yourselves.
Well, I'm Mike with IGL Coatings. Been with IGL for a couple years now. It's an exciting venture. We came out here to talk about ages a little bit and do some certification on it. And we're going to talk about some more products, but it's been a blessing being out here. It's refreshing.
Cool.
And the morning runs out here are amazing. So
Right. Yeah, we'll have to get into that too.
Hi, I'm Chris with IGL Coatings. I came on about a year ago as a sales rep. I've been installing their products since late 2015. Have always loved them. Have always loved the camaraderie.
Right.
Everybody in the industry and
good team.
And definitely with the team. So,
well, I think with IGL, what they've done Joel and Jeff have done a great job is culture,
Yes.
It sounds weird, but Joel and I just hit it off. He's somebody I'd really admire. He's a straight up guy, gives it to Jeff is, and they've put a great team together. And I think the culture they brought together is pretty amazing. So we'll get into it. Before we get into that, we've got a friend of ours that's, Chris is behind the scenes right now. So hi, Chris.
Yep. Hey guys.
But with that, we need Mike to come over for a second because it's Duck's Detailing's birthday. So he's in town vacationing. And so we're going to spank you later, but this is Mike. And so happy birthday, man. So it's just wanted to say hi to you. And and it's pretty ironic because you're a big part of IGL's culture and team.
Absolutely.
So, and he's here at the industrial coating. So we'll spank you later. We'll spank you. Okay, sounds good. Or we got one. It's called a pellet gun. And so it's hey, do you know have you ever in your endeavors? We'll get into this. Is going to be a weird statement right here. Have you ever met Mike Tyson with your other thing that you're into? That sounds really weird, by the way. Yeah. So Mike's into pigeons, and so I know Mike Tyson is. Yeah, so they race them. They race birds. It's pretty cool. We learned a lot yesterday about.
We did
about how fast they go. What was the top speed? What was the average
75.
speed? About 75 miles an hour. Wow, unreal.
That's crazy,
isn't it?
And
it's crazy.
What was it? 20? How many millions of dollars for one?
Yeah, a lot of millions of dollars for a pigeon. Which is, I mean, if they're going to breed them, it's going to be a master breeder, right? Man, that would be a bummer if you bring it home, your wife accidentally cooks it or something like that,
or you pay $20 million for it and it flies back to the last guy.
Yeah. It doesn't like you, just goes home. So, you guys, IGL is known for automotive coatings. You guys have done a great job in the industry. You're also really good about, there's a lot of industry support that y'all do. And, you've supported us so many times. And Jeff, Joel, thank you so much. And the whole team, you guys. And so next year, hey, Joel, send these guys out there so they can come out and hang out with us as a group. They need to be out there and see what the other vendors do. So,
Amen.
You need to come out and see us. And we'll put you to work, and you'll never come again. But no, we, you with the coating side. I mean, this is a great item too. I always say if the manufacturers don't get along, the street fighters aren't going to get along.
That's right.
So here we are, with IGL, with Double Black. Is it competing products? No, it's building products.
Absolutely.
Is I think I'm one of those that if Chevy and Ram and Ford does a better job, all three of them, more people are going to buy American trucks.
That's right.
And so I think that when somebody does a great job of building a coating and a support network, which I think is more important than the coating itself.
Right.
That's right.
What would you say about that? Because I know we've got a big support network with everything we do, and I know you guys are the same way.
Yeah, if we can't support the installers themselves, they're never going to grow. And it's really important. And back to what you said, and Chris has, said it a couple times this week, is, it's all about filling that gap.
Right.
Because we can't all have the best product.
No.
Whether you're an RD company or whatever you are, there's always going to be a little gap that maybe somebody else has a little bit better filler for that.
Right.
And for us, we have an automotive line, but it's the industrial side of things are really starting to fill a gap that's needed.
And we'll get into that because the potential, this isn't, boy, how do I view this? This is a whole nother source of income that's really, I think, goes into another, you could start a branch underneath if you're an LLC or an S Corp or C Corp, is I see this as another name underneath that umbrella is going into these coatings.
100%.
It's going to be that
Absolutely.
big. And so let's go back to the start. Let's go back and talk about a little bit about IGL's history so people understand that. And then we'll jump into modern day. And then, I've been fortunate enough to where I know probably this much of what's coming down the, on the industrial side. I'll only say, you guys can say whatever you're comfortable with, but there's a lot of future to industrial coatings. And so take us back to the early days and how you guys got hooked up, a year ago. So we'll start with a new guy. So what drew you? So why IGL? How'd you get involved?
So originally, when I first opened up my shop, I had a gentleman from the Netherlands follow my Facebook page. Rowers. I can't his last name. And his cars were just ridiculous. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I'd been detailing for 15 years prior to that, but I never had a surface look like that. But it's like, well, I use these coatings from IGL. I'm like, well, send me some. He's like, well, I can't, but here's the people you need to contact. So I contacted Jeff Carey and got hooked up with him, like I said, late 2015. And that's when I truly started branching into ceramic coatings, and nobody in my area had done anything like that before. So it was kind of a slow organic build, but the first to the table eats the most. So we were able to really expand that and grow that rapidly. And just the support along the way. If there was ever an issue, ever a problem, it was handled quickly and easily, which are very few and far between.
That's a great point. I don't always judge a company on how good they are when everything's going right. We judge a company on how good they are when everything goes wrong. And last night you guys went to dinner, and one of my favorite places. I'm not going to throw them under the bus, and it didn't go right. And that's really we've rarely ever had a mishap with them. And it sounds like they had a pretty big stumble.
But they took care of it, and it was great food.
Absolutely.
There you go. And so it's I think a real stand-up company is when they do have an issue. But it was so minimal, you even minimalized it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So now how'd you get involved? 2015 rolls around, you're using the products. How'd you get in this seat?
It's always something that I wanted to be a bigger part of IGL, because I believe in the brand. I believe in their vision. And it's the people in it. I just wanted to be a bigger part.
Got ya.
So I was always looking for an avenue to play a bigger part. And then when I moved, sold my shop last May, moved my family down to South Florida, I knew there was a vacancy. So finally, instead of beating around the bush, I picked up the phone, called Joel, and said, hey, I want it.
Wow.
And 2 weeks later, here I was.
Well, it's pretty cool because when we saw you in the booth this last, year, it was cool to see you there. And then, there's the booth back wall, and then there's your head, so, it stands out a little bit. So, okay. So you got to tell us your story. What's the story with you and IGL?
So I started about a year and a half ago, but I started using coatings probably back in 2012-ish. But it wasn't the typical ceramics that we know of today.
Right.
It was more of the car lot, Simonize, and it was because I worked at a dealership, part time, and I thought I owned a detail shop too, and I was like, hey, I need to incorporate some type of ceramic into this lineup, and back then I didn't get involved in social media or anything, so I really didn't know what was out there. So I just was like, hey, I'm going to buy Simonize. I bought it on the black market, if you want to say, under the table, eBay, and it said, do not resale or not for resale. But, I was buying them for like $5 a bottle. And a little bit after that, somebody introduced me to IGL, and I thought, well, I'll try it out. And I tried it. It was easy. and I liked it. It fit well in my company with my shop. And then I was offered a position with another ceramic coating company to rep. So unfortunately, I don't know if Joel's watching, but Joel had shut my account off with IGL, which was because I was repping for another company. Totally understandable, right?
Right. Yeah.
But I quickly realized that the company that I was repping, which was a great company, they just didn't have all the resources I needed. Because IGL is being that R&D company, we have everything from maintenance to coatings to auxiliaries, and we just had a few products, and I couldn't give the customers what I really wanted to give them.
Right.
So when I quit repping for that company, I was talking with Marcus, I believe, and I said, "Hey, I need my product back. Can I get my account back?" And so he unlocked it, and I started using a lot of IGL again. And Marcus and I became really close. We talked a lot, and my background is the corporate world. I managed a lot of people, and we just knew a lot about process procedures and improvements and everything. We talked a lot about business, and he had said for about 1.5 years, he was like, I was on that hook. He's like, yeah, at some point I'm going to need another person, and I want you to be part of the team. And that went on for like 1.5 years. And then Joel had invited me to SDC a few years back just to work it as an installer type thing. And after SDC, he walked me out to my truck and just said, "Hey, I want you part of the team." So I had a tough decision. Do I leave my corporate world and stay and go to IGL, or do I stay? What do I want to do? And detailing has just been a passion of mine, but more importantly, helping people is a passion of mine.
There you go. I dig.
And so I just felt, I want to take my passion and be able to help other installers and help the younger generation grow. And so that's why I decided to do it. And it's been a hell of a ride.
Yeah. I think, it's funny. A little fun fact here is that when we bought this place, the people getting out of it were way behind. And we had already scheduled, we had a training, with our 5-day, and PNS is a big part of it. But our first event here was an IGL event on a Saturday. And we had to scramble to get everything done. Chris and I mean, Diane went and learned how to do the floors and walked us through it. And we were out here doing floors and, just painting and cleaning. And, it was a scramble. You guys had the very first open event here, a Saturday event was awesome. You guys. It was really cool. We did a boat class. We had a lot of people here. I think we had
like 20.
Yeah, it was like 20 installers in house, which is a lot. That's a big class.
Yeah, that is.
And Joel didn't mess around. He brought like the whole crew. I mean, there's probably 20 others just in Joel brought out. So it was pretty cool. So now let's jump into and it's as we get into this, I wrote down 2012 and 2015, 2 dates that you guys mentioned. And the reason why is that just think and for some, that's a long time. And it is, 11 years, on your first going into 2012, 2015. Right. But look what's happened in the industry since 2012. Unreal. 2015.
Yeah.
Tons changed. That's where we're at I think on the industrial side of these coatings. I think we're going back to 2010, 2008, 2009, 2010, where it was just starting to ripple. And some of us were, got into it early. Mm-hmm. And then people were watching, and a lot of people were watching. And so you guys aren't getting out. Clarification. You're not getting out of the automotive sector.
No,
you're still growing there.
Yes.
It's a good sector. It's a home base, but you're giving other opportunities. So let's talk about, Eclipse way back in 2018, was that 2019? 2019, is when we demoed Eclipse, where the first time I'd seen Eclipse installed. And so it still, I don't think it was considered an industrial coating, but we were putting it on side-by-sides and undercarriages and stoves and ovens and, stuff like that. So now we've progressed where we've got these new coatings coming out, ages come out. So talk to us about that. Where's that going? And where is it at? It's here. You can see boxes. We installed it yesterday. We sprayed it yesterday.
Yeah.
We hand applied it yesterday. We're going to go back out today and do more work. So So you start out with Eclipse. Let's start out there, and then that ran into Aegis.
Yeah. So like my understanding with Eclipse, it did come to play a little, before I was part of IGL, and Chris, you were probably using it, but it wasn't necessarily made or designed to go, hey, we're going to go shoot it on side by sides.
Right.
It was kind of a industrial coating, more suited for like dust collections and more manufacturing type scenario. So it just is the fact that as detailers, we're all detailers. We put stuff on things that it shouldn't go on, and that's what happened.
Right.
The first thing that happened was somebody sprayed a UTV, and they found out it worked, and that's the way it started getting marketed at that point.
Yeah.
So there are so many uses for it. Today people put it on wheels, spray it, walk away. They put it on UTVs. It's a quick, easy money maker, and it works. Whether it be the UTVs, the wheels, the rock climbers, the stainless steel appliances, to house furnishings, to backyard barbecue pits, whatever. But Aegis then came about because there was a gap, and that it's not just the protection of paint, it's the corrosion aspect. And there's a lot of companies that are coming out with industrial coatings, but they're industrial ceramics is what they're considering. And a lot of people get that confused with Aegis. They think Aegis is a ceramic coating, and it's really not. It's a 2K system. So essentially it's like a clear coat with all kinds of corrosion resistance in it. And everybody at IGL saw the need. The fact of the matter is, corrosion itself back in 2016, it was a $2.5 trillion problem. So that's how much money spent each year trying to mitigate that problem. Now it's closer to 4.2 trillion.
Wow, man.
And we always tell people, let's just get a little slice of that pie.
Right.
So.
What I love about it is it takes blue collar entrepreneurs and gives them a new opportunity to earn at another level, and be recognized at another level, and really build up a whole new following. So you look at this. Okay, let's talk about something. Dust. Okay. Even in a museum, a lot of people don't understand this, is that, I had somebody just recently ask me, well, you do that the Air Force One up there every year. Does it really need to be done? I said, do you know one of the most corrosive items in a museum is dust? And I said, these planes are undercover, but they're not totally protected. And I mean, we can see it. We can see the deterioration over a year. They need to be redone. It's not an easy job. They have to be redone.
Yeah.
And so look at just that. If you look at even the food processing, wood processing, metal processing, all these different processing facilities, it also opens up for smaller towns, or commercial towns. All these, that's huge.
Yeah.
Just in dust control, and we haven't even wiped the surface yet with getting into what is that. And I'm sure you guys are looking at it, but you got a tiger by the tail, and it's you're going to need help. You're going to need installers that know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
We talked about the 6 degrees of separation. Is you've got somebody in your network that knows somebody that needs this.
Yes.
So what percentage of the population works at production? A lot. That's a big number. Farm and ranch equipment. That just opens it up to a lot of people don't realize California. You think LA, San Francisco, beaches, but go up to the Central Valley.
Yeah.
It's the vegetable and fruit stand for America. Look at how much, and I'll tell you, you think that everybody concentrates on a Ferrari, you could buy several Ferraris just with what these ranchers or farmers are paying on their equipment. So it's massive in application and construction. And so we could go in and do 10 podcasts on each one of those and the opportunities. You go into forklifts, what community, we're in a small mountain community at 6,700 feet. And I guarantee you there's 100 forklifts here. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Snowplows. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you there's probably 1,000 snowplows here, in a little tiny community. What kind of business is that? So we're okay. So let's talk about the installation of this because we were out doing it yesterday. So what is it? We defined it. It's 2K. Okay. Let's go into that a little bit. What's that mean in a little more detail?
Yeah. So Aegis itself it's basically a graphene reinforced. We have nanotubes in it, corrosion resistant 2K system. So when we say 2K system, obviously the first thing people think about is auto body, and they compare it to a clear coat. There's a little bit of truth there, but it's not even close to automotive clear coat. You can see that in the install yesterday.
Right.
It's very forgiving. It's you're not going to worry about separation fish eyes. Chris proved that. We kind of put his sweat from his forehead that's burnt today, and we wiped it on, and then we sprayed right over top of it without any problem. So it's and I can't explain how it does it, but it's very forgiving coating or 2K system that can also be tinted. So the nanotubes, what it does is it actually creates a more treacherous path so the corrosion can't get to the surface. And that's the whole purpose of the nanotubes. So without that, like a typical clear, the corrosion can get to the substrate a lot easier because there's no path to go around. And that's really what gives it that strength at that point to be
So it gives it a flow.
Yeah.
To where it's going to escape instead of going down, it escapes out. So a lot of people are going to ask this, well, why not use it on my Ferrari paint?
And we have detailers that every day they're like, hey, can we put this on automotive? And people have tried it. And I'm not, it's not meant for that. But this was meant to mitigate corrosion itself. From the aesthetics, we accidentally figured out how to make it look nice.
Right.
Originally it was, hey, let's brush it, dip it, roll it, whatever we need to do. Because you brought up yesterday, if you're on a Navy ship, we're not going to be spraying out in the sea.
Yeah.
We're going to be brushing something. We're going to be rolling something. And that's really what it was designed for. Or like pipelines. Hey, we have a break in a pipeline. So a lot of corrosion coatings are colored. They're black. They're whatever. You can't see through it. So you're on a pipeline and you see them repairing rust. And the rust spot could be in one area, but the weak spot could be 20 yards down the line.
Right.
It just showed up. And right away they repair that one spot because it's a colored, it's gray, it's black, whatever. And they're just repairing that spot, not really realizing that there's a weak spot. And now we can actually send drones down and be able to see the weak spot.
Gotcha.
Versus, trying to locate it by a couple guys running down the pipeline looking at it. But so it's just a different beast, but yes, people have made it look pretty, and we did that by spraying, but even brushing, rolling, dipping, it self levels. So if you glob it on, you'll just see it kind of after a while level out, and it just naturally looks nice. But the reason we want to put it on a body, the body of a car or a paint, it's not gonna sand or finish out the same as a clear as far as hey, wet sanding and polishing. Can you do that? I shouldn't say this, I've done it, but I'm in trouble again. But
it's not made for that.
But it's just not
made
a beauty
product.
It's not. You can make something look fabulous, but that was not the intention.
Right. We've got behind us, so we grab this. So this is something that Chris, you painted these.
Yes, sir.
And so you can see this, and it looks pretty good. It looks damn good.
Not bad for a guy that doesn't know what he's doing.
No, and so it does look good on things, but it's not going to take and beautify like it's you're not going to take it to Monterey Car Week,
right?
And win any awards with it. It's not made for that. It's made to make commercial industrial stuff. Not corrode and look and look good while you're at it. Right. So where I see a big application on this is on the big cranes. Mm-hmm. I'm talking jumbo, the stuff that you see in Las Vegas. Yep. The stuff that you see in Singapore. Mm-hmm. Because downtime with those things, when they take it down, they're there for years. There's only a limited number of those cranes in the world. A lot of people don't know that.
Right.
And so they ship them. These companies ship them all over the world, and there's always demand for them. Well, they've got to do maintenance on them. And so if you can get down and have a crane down and it's down and they're loading it and the wait time is reasonable and you're taking and putting an anti-corrosion inhibitor on it while they're loading it back up to ship it to from New York City to Tokyo, if they take it and ship it into a company and have it media blasted or even just have it covered, that downtime is hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars.
Right.
Yeah.
To where if you're on site and you can go up and set a production studio up and you can roll it on, so therefore the EPA issues aren't on you, is guess what? You just became a hero with this crane company. Yeah. And for them to give you $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, that's 10% of what they would have spent on just downtime alone, getting it retreated.
Well,
absolutely.
And even to top that all off, it is tintable. So the crane manufacturer can start just applying it from start.
Right.
Yeah.
And not even have to worry about it. And, to kind of add on that, it's no different than we have an installer that does the locomotives. Mm-hmm. Same scenario. Them locomotives were cleaned every 2 to 3 weeks by him. He did a sample. They came back and said, hey, we want you to do the whole locomotive. And what happened was he put together just an ROI for them because they were paying him to clean them more frequently without the coating. And then what he found out was the locomotives are getting repainted every 10 years.
Yeah.
At $24,000, $25,000, somewhere in there, which is a lot of money. But on top of that, it takes them 2 weeks
of
downtime. So he's able to go in there, clean up the locomotive, apply the ages, be done in 2 days. They're back on the tracks in 2 days. So yeah, he saves them a lot of money, like half the amount it costs. But it's really that downtime. There's a lot of money that's being lost.
Yeah.
Oh,
a lot more than 24 grand.
Absolutely.
And so, it's so a lot of people say, well, I come out and, I've installed, I mean, I can't even imagine how many different brand names of coatings. I've got thousands of installs. This is a little different and learn the different variations. So we had how many newbies that had never shot before out there yesterday, Chris?
7 or 8, I think.
Yeah, and probably 2 of them. Well, we had one painter.
Yeah,
and he got out there and said,
there's
okay, he's bragging.
There's one in every group.
Yeah, he did great. But here, by the end of it, by the time that everybody got the gun in their hand the second or third time, they're already starting to figure it out.
Yeah.
And so it's not difficult, but you guys have, we're going to announce a schedule to where you're going to come out to a lot of our training facilities. We know we've got probably one, but I'm guessing we're going to have multiple. And I can't tell you the value of coming out and meeting these guys, but then learning the product, but then also the different applications, and it's where it's going. I mean, Duck, he sees a whole nother segment of his business going this direction, so he's going to take and treat all the pigeons with Aegis, and they're going to go 85 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's surface tension.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, real quick, I got a good question while you're on the topic of training.
Good question.
What how does somebody get to the point to where they can purchase and install Aegis? What does it take?
So this is a certification only type product. And a lot of people are like, well, hey, I haven't been a painter, I can do this, whatever. And it's just learning the background of things, and knowing how you have to treat this like a real business, because this really is a pivot in your business. And then just learning the process, because this is not a typical clear coat. One thing we didn't add is like a typical car clear coat is going to just naturally cure as it off gases. And Aegis does too, but everybody thinks that, we're lying until we show them. Is Aegis actually cures by thickness. So we have to have the right thickness, and then it uses its gases to cure. If we don't have the right thickness, it actually will never cure.
Yeah.
It'll stay sticky.
It'd be
So
tacky for the rest of my life.
that's what we teach in this class. But if anybody wants to learn more about the classes or get involved in Aegis itself, just contacting us at iglcoatingsusa.com or emailing us at training@iglcoatingsusa.com. And then we do have classes. Typically, we have classes in Kentucky. Lexington, Kentucky is where our training center is. we have that class once a month. And then we have been going out on some locations, some different places, and doing some trainings. Like Renny said, we will do some more trainings with them. And, so just get a hold of, if you're an IGL member already, get a hold of your rep, and they can tell you when the next one will be. We do have, if somebody's listening and they want to get in this week yet, we have a class in Lexington on Saturday and Sunday of this week, and then also Monday and Tuesday. So Joel and Marcus and I will be at them. So if you want to get in real quick.
They're not even going to give you any time off. They're just going to push you right into it. Wow. Dang, I'll tell you.
It's working us like Hebrew slaves.
This
exactly.
this is a true passion though. Like not just every time Marcus and I get done with the class, we just look at each other and shake our head.
Yeah.
We can't get over it.
No,
Like, this
me too.
is 2 years in, and we still look at each other and we laugh and shake our head and like, what is going on here? How is this working? So
I tell people in that 5 day, it's a long week. It's 60, 70 hours. And then we've got, they can join our group. In our group, so many people have a misinformation about what groups are. I don't care who, it's all it's clicky. You know what a clique is? It's a group you haven't gotten to know.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
In high school, they'd say they're clique. Okay, I played football. I knew the stoners, I knew the gangbangers, I knew the nerds, and I was an honorary band member. Do you know why? Because I put effort into every one of those groups.
Yeah,
that's right.
I could go, and if I got in trouble and mouthed off to the wrong gangbanger, I knew the bigger, badder gangbanger, and
right.
so I could, and I just, and I'm the same way now, is that you look at, you guys are here.
Yeah.
My biggest passion is this group, and in the industry, is teaching others how not to overwork and how to, and build a life. And so much of it starts here in this brain of ours, and it ends here. It's what we're telling ourselves, and so let's go in a little different. So, where's this thing going? We talked about and I know where you guys are going next. I don't know if you want to say anything, probably don't. But you got a meeting with a big company, a really big company. And is this the tip of the iceberg? Are we back at 2012? Or are we a little more developed than that? Is it going to take a few years to? And for some, they're already doing it. Your one installer is already doing. He's doing locomotives.
Yeah. So I will say this: Aegis, the conception of Aegis has already passed up when Eclipse was brought to the market.
Wow,
it's growing faster than.
So 2019 for me, and look at that's a really short, small window. That's a small window.
And I truly believe there's going to be a point, and that's part of this class. If you don't take what you learn, apply it, and go knock doors and expect people just to call, that may happen. You may get a call, but it's all about networking. We talked about this yesterday with the class. You never know who you're sitting next to, who might be involved with a big project that has a problem with corrosion. Might be bridges, might be locomotives, might be construction equipment, maybe whatever.
Could be roller coasters.
And just roller coasters. You just don't know. So it's all about networking. And, part of these classes, we take notes ourselves as instructors, like who's applying themselves, because, there's jobs out there where somebody needs 100 installers all of a sudden.
Right.
And some of these guys are going to get calls and say, hey, we need it. We have a big job. Let's team up and get this done.
We were talking to 3 of our young guys yesterday. They're all down in the Southern California region. They're all within 20, 30 minutes of each other. And I even told them that you guys are looking at this wrong. All you guys are talking about hiring somebody part-time. Why don't you guys just work together and not hire anybody until you're ready? Because, we don't know where this economy is going. This right here. I won't say this is economy proof because nothing is. But this is just another avenue to make solid money. And I'm not talking breadline money. I'm talking, you own the breadline. And so it a lot of think small until you need to think bigger. Because so many people are thinking big. And, I think I was sharing with you guys. I shared a video on Instagram, 102-year-old woman. And she said, I've got a 10-year plan still. This is what, and she was so cute. And she goes, this is what I want to do. And she's talking about it. And I guarantee you, when that woman was 90, she had a 10-year plan.
Yeah.
And I bet you when she was 80, all the way back to that little girl. And you know what you could see in that woman? That 10-year-old little girl was still alive in those eyes.
Yeah.
And so I what I see this as is such a great opportunity to take within, even if you're small and brand new. This is we talked about 90% of what we talked about yesterday was business. And that's our class is the same way. And I know Joel and I talk about this constantly because we're serial entrepreneurs. I mean, that's been my entire life. Right. I don't drink, I don't use drugs, but I've been a workaholic, and I've been a habitual, entrepreneur of starting new opportunities.
Yeah.
And so, I just see this as a way for detailers. I had one of the kids yesterday. He goes, could you ever see this to where I'd have to give up my detailing company? And they go, not. I mean, I think we talked about it. I said, man, my biggest regret is I should have put the right managers in place and kept all those things rolling and just wet my beak off of all of them.
Yeah.
Maybe I only made 20 grand off that company.
Yeah.
But I had a company like that. Why did I sell it? I don't even know. I hadn't been to our shop I'm not lying. Had not been in that shop in 2 years. Diane and I were only netting probably $30,000 a year off. I hadn't been to the shop in 2 years. I'm getting paid.
Mailbox
I made
money.
$60,000 and hadn't stepped foot in that shop.
Yeah.
Why did I get rid of that? I could have had 10 of those, all doing different things. And now my guy was making good money, my main guy, but it kept going. So don't think about this replacing anything. Look at this as an add-on.
Yeah, no, it's a chance just to pivot.
Yeah. It is.
And you're exactly right. And I gave the example yesterday about, as detailers, and I still, I don't detail. My wife takes care of the shop, everything, but I still consider myself detailer, because it's a passion. And as detailers, we get in this box sometimes where we don't think outside. We just we're concentrated on that shiny car and everything else, which is great. You can use this product on undercarriages, whatever. But what we tend to forget that with the economy, things do slow down. Or I always hear people it's winter time, I don't know what to do. And there is ways with auxiliary coatings and everything that you can still manage. But what they tend to forget about is the real big companies, the construction companies, the manufacturing facilities, they have the rainy day funds that they wait until wintertime when it's slow. And now they're going to move machinery and they're going to do this and process improvements. And that's the time that you can go in there and cash in on some of that money that they've set aside. They don't run out of money. I mean, I'm not going to say the economy can do anything, but a company that is successful will put money away for process improvements. And some of that process improvement or just improvement in general might be something to do with dust collections, or it could be something to do with corrosion. We just want some protection on our forklifts or, machinery. So it's just a good thing to be able to pivot and still have that money coming in, and it's going to be real money. It's for the process that you have to do. It's very simple, and you're kind of a one of a kind at that point. You're offering something nobody else can offer or does offer, and you can set your hourly rate accordingly. It's a specialty thing.
Hey, real quick. This reminds me when I posted this up yesterday that we were doing this. I was looking up some stuff, and Warren Buffett said, never rely on a single source of income. He urges people to find ways to bring in money from a variety of sources. And some people today will even argue that building multiple streams of income is no longer just a luxury today, but it's a must.
Yeah. You look at all the sources just in our little company. I mean, we're a little company, and you look at, our training, you look at P&S, you look at these events, you look at our new tool, you look at the membership for the Mafia. I mean, all those different things that we do, look at right there. And then you look at the real estate. I mean, I lease this building back to my company.
Right.
Yeah.
And the reason why I do that is because the taxation that I have to pay on real estate income is half of what I have to pay from the other sources of income.
Yep.
Right.
And so there's the way you think. Okay, so this is big. I'm glad you just set me off. Okay, my wife, I won't even go there. A good friend of mine, he designs the fire trucks for our fire department up here. They get I'll call it a brand new murdered out. This thing's a fire truck. It's red. It's just, I mean, if as big as macho as you are, dude, you just freaking, you'd be 3 inches taller if it pulled up, because it's just badass, right? It's red with black trim, right? So what do I get? He comes in. Well, Norman's Mafia. He's a detailer, right? So he comes in, he gets it, and he goes, dude, I took delivery of it, and the first thing I think, and I was reading his mind, is I said, you're looking at the truck and you're thinking winter.
Yeah.
And so I called Joel and I said, hey man, what do we put? I sent him pictures and I said, what is this Aegis? You know, I mean, what is this? And he says, okay, give me all the substrates. What's everything made out of? And so they walked him through. So our local, he sold them to Norman, and Norman went and put them on all the new fire trucks.
Nice.
And so, yeah, so there it happens. Now I want to make a suggestion. This Aegis is opening up something. Industrial coatings are opening up something. Look for industry that has demands by government, dust, and that creates a need that is consistent. It doesn't matter what the economy is doing. They have to do it.
Yeah, municipalities are a great option for a lot of this product because, you know, I'm the salt and snow plows, you know, the salt spreaders, snow plows for our areas are huge. Going back to your fire truck in Michigan, a ladder truck only lasts about 5 years.
Wow.
$650,000, $700,000 because the frame on them start to rust, and then they can't pass their certification or their, you know, when they go in there and certify it.
And here's the reality. Okay, at a little jurisdiction like this, we're getting a brand new ladder truck because we've got bigger buildings going in. 1.1 million. Okay, for the ladder truck. They're budgeting it out that it's going to be end of service is going to be in 20 years. They've got to figure out, because now they can't spend $1 million. Okay, 600,000 entry level, probably not going to get it much longer, if at all, right?
Yeah.
So now they can't look at it at 5 years. They got to get 10 years.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Is there a product? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is you go to them and you say this, but here's what I like about this is that I'm not going to just sell them on one and done. I'm going to sell them on maintenance, off-season maintenance. And I'm going to sell them on the fact that we can come in and that truck, when it's having its annual service, is down. I'm in doing the work. There is no downtime.
Yep.
You do it when it's down for everything, you know?
Yes. Yep.
So, you know, we do the fire truck windshields is we do the windshields for the fire trucks because to replace them is $5,000 or $6,000. So if they get a chip in, we haul ass over, and you know, we do it. Diane does it. She's the window master, right? And I'm telling, so it's a demand. They have to have that done. So if you can, this is what I love. I get excited. So
do we.
So yeah, and so if you look at this, guys, because I see an opportunity for y'all to better your life. Is what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
Drop the shiny shit. Who the cares?
Yeah.
Is that I know there's a lot of you, dude. I love detailing as much as anybody. I like making shit shine, but I like turning stuff green. I like money, and I like, and it's not hoarding it. It's not greed. It's pride, man. It's okay for you to be wealthy. You deserve it. I grew up poor, and so many.
Absolutely.
You know why I'm not ahead of where I am right now? Is people go, God, look what you've done. I said, you know what I could have done if I believed I deserved it.
That's right.
If I would have just believed, I knew I could do it. Doing it was easy for me. You give me an opportunity, I'm the first one to put my balls underneath the hammer. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm never scared to take a chance, right? But the thing that I've really struggled is, do I really deserve this?
Yeah.
I'm come on, man. And I've sabotaged myself by doing that. I'm talking, if you're a small person, man, woman, child, whatever it is, we just had in training, we just had a 17-year-old in 5-day training.
That's awesome.
And his dad sat here the whole time with him and go, son, go.
That's awesome.
And just Canadian. So
we need more of that.
We do.
We do.
And this kid, I'm going to tell you, If your Canadian tax board did not listen, so his mom is it makes 90 grand a year at whatever she does. This kid last year made more than her.
Wow.
This
awesome.
year,
That's
17
awesome.
years old.
Good for
He
him.
brought in. Is it a business? No, he realized, oh shit, I got to turn this into. It's got to be
Right.
legal. It's got to be above the board. So dad and mom coached him, and she wasn't for it. No, you're going to go to college. You're going to do that, and then all of a sudden this year he made more money than her, and she's like, oh, okay, well, why don't you go to school?
Right.
Let's send you.
She's
Get
like,
up,
yeah.
go,
She's
go,
like, hire me.
go. Yeah, exactly. And so
Exactly.
if you look at this, get away. You can still make paint shine.
Yeah,
But here's the thing: even if this takes off, make your own Porsche shine.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're so into it that
Yeah.
this could go into something else that you don't even know is there. I'm looking over at my lawnmower. It's just a right on top lawnmower. And these guys are making fun of me because, matter of fact, I wasn't. We mowed this back here, so we weren't
Right.
standing in taller grass, weeds.
It
And so I was gone. I was out of town when my wife did it, and our neighbor came over, and she's washing it out there, soap and water. She's using Pearl soap mitts, and he goes, "What are you doing?" And she goes, "Oh, Renny won't let the lawnmower back in the shop unless
Right.
it's been washed." And he goes, "That thing looks brand new still." And she goes, "He coated it. It's completely coated. We have to wash it after every service. Get your thrills on shiny shit that way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go out and make money,
Yes.
and then you can have your own shiny shit.
This product honestly has the ability to create generational wealth. If you look at the $4.2 trillion a year problem, even if you got a small sliver of that pie, what could that do for somebody's life? Change it dramatically.
Well, I love that because I never thought it that way. Just okay. You just nailed it. Being a poor kid, mom and
Yeah.
grandma raised me,
Mhm.
Special ed kid. I've never been bashful about telling people that. I have people make fun of me because of that. Yeah, he's a dumbass. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Thanks for watching my shit, though. I appreciate it. Is generational wealth. I never thought of that because you look at what my kids have been able to do compared to what I was able to
right.
do.
Right.
And that was all off the back of detailing.
Mhm.
Everything that's why I love this industry. I'll do anything I can. The biggest thing I want to do is just influence the generations to go stop overworking and make more money.
Mhm.
You're on Afterburner right now.
Yeah.
You're going to go through Afterburner. I was after Afterburner last week, still on a little bit of Afterburner.
Yeah.
Having you guys here, I've been able to take it down a notch, just go into a nice cruise.
Right.
And I leave tomorrow morning. I'll be on an airplane going to Salt Lake City. And so, but then I've got a couple weeks. You got to know when to comp time yourself and
Yes.
take that time back.
Right.
Is the biggest thing. These kind of opportunities is going to take with products. Think outside the box. Look at, right now, as we're talking about, I'm really into overlanding. I've got 48 nights in my new rig. You look at that market alone.
Yeah.
Of what you can make in overlanding. You look at the side-by-side market. You look at the Jeep market.
Yep.
You look at all those different markets of how you can attract things. Now you take it in and you go to the commercial market. I can go down the street where I grew up as one of the biggest train yards in the Western U.S. You already mentioned it.
Yeah.
Mike. But right there is where they make components for the trains too. There's a manufacturing plant. Right there is the facility where they make all the ducting for commercial heating and air.
HVAC.
Yeah. And so look at that. Now you go into and when people are building metal buildings like this, you're going to go in and have manufacturing in a metal building. You talked about going in and treating all the beams in here. Dust. Okay. How many days? We spent 2 days.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time cleaning all the
Yeah.
the beams in here.
2 days. 2 days, just the beams.
Yeah.
And so look at the opportunity that you've got there. You've got all these things you can go to the farming manufacturers. Wisconsin, look at who's there for just fire and ag. Is the ag business is massive. Now look, if you're okay, look at
Can I mention something about
yeah.
I just want people to understand when it comes to implements, farm implements, and that sell this equipment. I never realized that, every big business, when they have a sales and service, they bill one another. It's part of their process. But what happens is anytime a piece of equipment at these implements get cleaned, the service department does it. And then they charge the sales department. And they're just they're having like a young kid come in, pressure wash and vacuum these tractors out, and they charge the sales department $175, $185 an hour. They get it back and it's half-ass. It's nothing special.
Yeah.
So a lot of these places are willing to reach out to people,
Outside
whether
sources.
it's a detailer or if you're putting corrosion resistance, whatever they can do to sell that product cheaper or faster and have more profit. So with that being said, like at our shop, we can do ages on a piece of equipment. It's faster than buffing something out. We can make it look nice. They can sell it fast. And I can still come in at less of a price point than what the sales department does themselves. So the sales department or the service department, the sales department's getting more profit and they're getting a better quality just by applying the ages.
You're going to get this right now. You probably thought of it, but if I was going to do it, I'm looking over at my gym, doing gym equipment. It takes a beating.
Well, and how quickly do iron plates rust?
Really quick. And that and just all the equipment itself.
Yeah.
That's going to get eclipsed now, as my gym's going to get eclipsed. And so it's just in this short, under an hour conversation, look what we've achieved. We hope that we've really taken and inspired y'all. I'm excited. And this is another lesson. I want everybody to pay attention to this, is that here we are as we're competing products, so to say, but we're not.
Competition happens at the bottom.
I was hoping you'd say that. Oh, I love that. Did you guys hear that? Say that one more time.
Competition happens at the bottom. Collaboration happens at the top.
That's right.
I don't think we can. My horse trainer always says this: when you're working with your horse, end on a good note.
Yeah.
When your horse is real happy, you end. I don't think we can beat
leave it.
I don't think we can beat that, man. And so, it's all of us getting together and coming together. And really what it comes down to is companies, Bob and Dave Phillips, Joel and Jeff, those guys at the top, myself, you guys,
right?
We want to take and inspire other people to go out and build a better life, work less, make more, and be happy. It's really, happy is a choice, and it's cheap.
It is.
Yes, it is.
It's cheap to be happy and to have energy and to build yourself back up. But it takes being around the right people and the right teams.
That's right.
If your culture, whoever you're involved in, if they're not taking and building you up like this is going, you're in the wrong group.
Yeah.
Simple as that. But I'm going to challenge you to this. If you're not engaged in that group and you're not putting your best forward, shame on you. It's not the group's problem. It's your problem. Because you've got, again, I hear this all the time in the industry and in all industries. Oh, it's a clique. No, bullshit.
No.
It's not. It's people taking time to, some of you look at the mafia. Some of these, we're coming up on the founders of this group. We've been together for 20 years.
Nice.
You can't expect to be in the group for 2 months and build the same relationships we have over 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's the same with you guys. And it's such an honor to have you guys here.
Well, it's an honor to be here.
There's people that they want to make things happen.
Right.
They wonder what it's like to make things happen. And there's people that make things happen.
Yeah. That's exactly it. And it's don't hate on the people around you. They're making it happen. Go use them as inspiration.
Hang out with them.
Hang out with them. I know I always can. If I'm the smartest guy at the table, I'm at the wrong table.
Right.
I'm at the wrong table. And when I hang around with guys like, Bob and Dave Phillips and with Joel and Jeff, and there's these big freaking, Marcus, you just got to keep the crayons out of his hands, as you just, when you're hanging out at this
his
table,
box is empty.
No,
we got to give him another box.
I give him a lot. I am nice, and I just give him the green crayons now. But I want him to do an invite to you guys early. And this goes out to, I'd like to get Joel and Jeff out here. Is recently the Mafia, we had a leadership course. Okay, it's an outdoor leadership course, and Mike was part of it. It was an amazing 2 days. We didn't scream and yell at anybody. Matter of fact, it was the dead opposite.
Yeah.
It was compassion and friendship and camaraderie. It was, we had myself 30. I can't even do the math anymore. It's like 35 years of search and rescue, and my military experience, and then we had Oscar, did a career in the Marine Corps, and we came in and we just taught principles. We had Samantha come in and Chris, and what they did for the group, it was amazing. So what we're going to do is we're going to have one more of those this winter and get the Mafia ready. And the reason why is we want them to be coaches. And then we're going to bring in a mix of the industry. We want to bring some of the industry leaders in. We'd love to get IGL to send representatives to that, because it's just getting you comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
And to have you guys leaders, we're going to get, hopefully Bob and Dave will come down. We can get a couple of you guys in. We're going to bring people from all facets of the industry, and is bringing in and when the rest of the industry sees the commerce, I'm not kidding you, it was a hug fest at the end. We didn't want to leave. I've done so many great things, God bless me, I love our country, putting that uniform on to this day. I mean, I look sharp. I know we're not supposed to iron our uniforms. I got a fellow guardsman here. My uniform looks sharp, and the reason why is one day is going to be my last day.
Yeah,
wearing it, and I wear that even today. It's a little snugger than it used to be, right? But it's okay because I wear it with pride.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And I wear every uniform I wear is with pride.
Yeah.
And that all these things I've done. This was the first time I've ever trained civilians. And it was one of the most gratifying things I've ever done in my entire life, business-wise.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Is because I saw men and women come together with compassion, and they helped one another, and they encouraged one another, and it was just amazing. And so, watch for that. I'm probably gonna have a couple this summer, I'm guessing, because we're gonna have a big turnout.
Yeah.
But we would love to get you, Joel. Your little ass going to be here, so if you're watching, just get ready.
Oh, he's watching.
So
Yeah, he's watching.
Yeah, you're here,
so
dude.
Is Misty,
You're here.
by the way.
And so we're going to probably do a late spring one. It's going to be a little chilly, kind of like what it is now, but you won't die. Okay?
It's like 35 degrees in the morning.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? And then it's like 80 in the afternoon.
Right.
So
you get sunburnt on your five head.
Exactly. I got a hat for you today.
Hey, real quick, guys, I got one question that just came in. It just says, would Aegis be good for corrosion control at beachside communities on yachts and stuff like that?
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's huge, man. My goal with this is to set up a whole new industry within our industry, is to really try to help you guys push this, is because I just want, I want people when I'm 80 years old walking through SEMA, I want you to come up and say, man, you helped me become a millionaire.
Yeah.
And I know a millionaire is not a big deal to some. I've heard this, and it sounds weird because we do have a lot of millionaires in the industry now, but my God, for those that started with nothing, that's freaking huge,
And I want to add something to this too. You're talking about the downturn in the economy, kind of the trajectory of where we're going right now. And from a corporate standpoint, now's the perfect time to hit them with something like this.
Get your foot in the door.
Because this is going to decrease the amount of money that they have to spend on maintenance.
Amen.
They don't care what the product costs, as long as you can show that you will save them over the long run in maintenance.
And what I like about this is it's proven it's not you going out some Yahoo, is you've got an R&D company with all the research and development behind it that's pushing this forward. So you're not going at this alone. It's a big opportunity. Open your brain. You know what Bob Phillips said when I did a live video to the group, and he put a post in public. He goes, Renny, great message. Is because he realizes that we're going to change lives with this as an industry, and it's not one of us, it's all of us. So we've got a whole industry behind you guys. I want you successful, and the reason why is I want as many people again in the next 20 years. I want a 20-year-old right now when he's 40 to come up and just say, man, it changed my life.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to say. Is we're talking, some of us guys that have been in the industry for 20 years plus, we only wish there was what there is today back then.
Oh yeah.
So whether you're young or an older older person in the industry, now's the time, because 20 years
Now's
from now, you're
always
going to
the
be like,
time.
man,
Yeah.
I should have
Should've
did
got
that.
And I'm 57 years old. Let's say you get this thing kicked off and you're 60. You got 20 years before your time's done.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother industry, dude.
Yeah.
Or dudette. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a whole nother. You got 20 years to build a whole something, and you're smart right now. Hopefully, I was telling these guys, my projection right now is the next 5 years. I'm going to make more money than I've made my whole career behind me, is because you get smart and you get connected and you help other people do it, and that's what it's all about. Gents, thanks a lot, Joel.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
See. Okay, you're going to come to the leadership class. It's already an invite to you, Bob. Phillips, call him and put pressure on him. And so stand by for that. And I want to thank everybody. We appreciate all of you being here, because that's what makes the world go around.
Amen.
So, hey, my happy birthday, buddy. You look amazing for 73. All right, guys, take care, man. Happy
See you
detailing
guys.
all. We'll see you.
Thanks for listening to the Renny Doyle podcast, brought to you by Detailing Success and PNS Double Black. Listen to new episodes weekly, and be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And don't forget to share with your friends and colleagues.